Alt, own a coffee shop and need to boost your sales. Trigger fire alarm in the local office buildings. Their employees will have to go out and will probably want to grab a drink while they wait. Risk jail time or fines for a few dozen more coffee orders. Learn from the politicians. If doing someone immoral or illegal, go big. Seriously, like, invest in a major coffee grower and then use mercenaries and bought police forces to burn down and murder all the small coffee growers. Stock and big coffee go sky high. Sell shares and major profit. That's the American dream. And don't worry about repercussions. Once you're rich enough, there are none. Just fees at worst. The Zuck laughs in $5 billion. Stock booms right after. Instruction unclear. Now have a new playmate in prison. Instructions unclear. Drop the soap in the shower. Happy cake day. You messaged him/her on the last minute of their cake day. Happy cake day. Also Alt, own a home construction business and need to boost sales. Burn down local homes. The residents won't want to live in hotels forever and some will come to you to build them. Alt, own a funeral business and need to boost sales. Simply kill people. And some will come to you for their funeral service. This actually happened in Poland and Germany few years ago. Ambulances were intentionally overdosing patients to get commission from funeral link. Wikipedia. org/wiki/skin_hunters. I don't remember name of German scandal, but there was a similar one. That's crazy. Not sure why you're getting downvoted. Apparently they made $23k USD on the scheme from a Fox News article link. foxnews.com/story/Polish doctors ambulance workers sentenced for cash for corpses scam. Around the time they were sentenced, Court and Lodz ruled that the defendants went a step further and killed patients or intentionally failed to save their lives in 2000 and 2001 to get a total of some 70,000 zlotys, $23,000 from the undertakers. The building I used to work in had the fire alarm go off properly a couple of times a year. The nearest building was a pub, and you'd just rapidly see about 60% of the department decamp there. Many people even made it back to work. Alt, own a tire shop, set spike strips down the street. They will roll into your lot. Multi-millionaire before you know it. I know you may be kidding, but this does actually happen here in India. It's happened to me once, and the puncture shop was oh so conveniently a few meters away from the highway that he'd placed a few nails on. I literally own a coffee shop. Instructions made sense, so I set it on fire. If you're insured, well, that might work out. Take people hostage during evacuation. Their family members will be so stressed that they binge for days on coffee. We had a guy back when I was in college who would pull the fire alarm at like 2 AM at least 2 Saturdays a month. When he was finally fucking caught, he ended up going to jail, and we found out he was hoping to see women in their underwear outside. My ass grabbed a blanket when it would go off because it was so damn cold outside and the only people ever in their underwear were guys. That right there is some good old cosmic irony. Yeah. We assumed it was a malfunction as it was happening too often to be a drill. They installed cameras after the 3rd month and about 7th time of it happening and finally caught the guy who was doing it. He ended up getting like 2 years in prison for it because of how much he did it and how someone could have been hurt or killed walking down 20 flights of stairs at 2 AM to 3 AM while in a panic. Creepy pervert probably deserves it tbh. /r/Allegla tips. Unethical with extra steps. There's a very fine line between Alt and that is. And then offer the responding fireman discounted coffee for their good response time. Even more business. No. You offer the firefighters free drinks to leave a good impression on the crowding customers. My company recently had a surprise fire drill that no one knew about, and about 40 of us ended up at a local coffee shop. Someone has been browsing Reddit recently. Offices have specific evacuation locations that all employees have to congregate at so that they can be checked and marked as safe. This is usually a large open area. Large open areas are generally not near coffee shops. While evacuating, they are not allowed to stop until they are at the evacuation point, because then they won't be counted as safe. They can't stop at any coffee shop on the way to the evacuation point. Once at the evacuation point, they are not allowed to leave until they have been marked as safe, and even then, they are not allowed to leave until their office has been cleared and they are allowed to return to it. They can't leave the evacuation point to go to a coffee shop once the office has been cleared after emergency crew have arrived, entered and swept the area, and determined no risk, an hour at the very least. Staff shuffle back to the office and resume work. Source: an office worker that has had to stand in a park doing nothing for 3 hours. I used to work in a large skyscraper in the middle of the city. There's always a Starbucks nearby when you're in a large city. The last fire drill I went straight to the coffee shop. Still had a long line though. They didn't really have a formal check-in process. I just told my coworker, hey, I'm going to grab a coffee. Could you let know? Want something? And that was enough. Can confirm. I worked in an office for startups. Fire alarm went off and a bunch of people went to the pub. Side note, this is in the UK, so Americans might prefer coffee. This is some Nightcrawler level shit. No, it's not. This is just fucking dumb. How are you even going to pull the fire alarm unnoticed? IDK, where I'm from, it's just a small red box with no supervision at all. You're the gnome that hands me my movies. I love you. Ahem, we prefer the term little magical people. It's not illegal to trigger the fire alarms if you cause the fire. Are you lost? This isn't r/illegal for tips. Did you graduate from one of Canada's top business schools with really good grades? Hahaha, I love NFY. Deleted. Better start the fire too, so you don't go trigger a false alarm. I appreciate the creativity, but this is just getting stupid. This is actually pretty brilliant. One of the better alts I've seen in a while. A high risk of going to prison or paying a large fine for a chance to make $100 is brilliant. You need to set the bar higher. You should team up with Nathan Fielder. I'm sure there are tons of coffee shop owners on here. Good shit. Just happened for our family coffee shop. Only the earth triggered the alarm for us. Earthquake. Business was booming for a few hours as everyone left their homes. I worked for a professional services firm, my first job out of college. We had an actual fire in the building and the managing partner refused to leave despite the fire alarms and smoke. He refused to leave until the fire dep forced him out. The rest of the firm's more reasonable employees went and had lunch at a local restaurant, so this scenario did happen to an extent. This is exactly what happened at my office on Wednesday. Some prankster pulled the alarm. We all streamed out to the sidewalk, waited, and then went to the coffee shop around the corner. Do this every day for a year. Incredible. Pretty much describes my entire 62-story building. When there's a fire drill, everyone leave 10 minutes beforehand and goes to one of the 3 coffee shops within walking distance. We had an earthquake in my area today and the cafe outside the department store was flooded. At real companies with real safety policies, employees will be obligated to collect at the muster points and not leave until the all clear. If you have a coffee shop next to our office building and are not selling coffee, you are doing something wrong. Hey, thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.